It is the end of an era. Military bases around the country are closing, part of the Defense Department's effort to modernize America's armed forces and trim its vast support structure. Many communities which relied on the jobs and business revenues that military installations provide feared dark days ahead, but instead have found opportunities. All across the country, people are reinventing old military bases. Already, almost half of the civilian jobs lost have been replaced by new jobs. More are on the way as startup companies, many exploiting cutting-edge technology, get an early boost in labs, offices, and hangars, once devoted to supporting defense. Vital infrastructure like seaports and airports are appearing and expanding. Universities and schools are finding new room to grow. New parks, golf courses, wildlife refuges, and museums are opening to the public. New neighborhoods are appearing. The homeless and organizations which lend a hand are getting the resources to help themselves and others. Live. Learn. Work. Play. Our military bases out of uniform. Alameda, a town of 80,000 just outside of San Francisco, lost almost 5,000 civilian jobs while facing the task of integrating into the community a 1,700-acre base. They have found some unusual allies in the private sector.
We have guys who love to blow things up and take pictures of them as they're doing that. We've worked on several projects recently that you may know. Robin Williams' film, What Dreams May Come, was shot in part here. Robin Williams lives in San Francisco. He loves to shoot in San Francisco. So we had to establish a team here to work on that film. In the process of setting up here, we recognized what a superb opportunity these buildings could offer for the stages and the studios business. And over the course of a few months, made a decision to consolidate here. It's not quite a movie studio yet, but it will be one of these days. It's perfect. If it can't be a Naval Air Station, it should be a movie studio.
High technology and entrepreneurship are recurring themes in the redevelopment of old bases throughout the country. CalSTART creates hatcheries for new businesses in the advanced transportation field. Cavernous Hangar 20, once the home of attack jets and helicopters, provides an ideal place for fledgling companies to find their wings.
We currently have 15 that are in residence here, and they're working on everything from intelligent transportation systems to automated rapid transit to electric vehicles, fuel cells, and advanced composite materials to reduce the weight, increase the strength of various types of vehicles.
What CalSTART does for transportation, ASSET, the Alameda Center for Environmental Technologies, is doing for another important segment of the high technology field.
ASSET is a business incubator focused on new businesses in the environmental technology area. And our goals are to foster these new businesses, get them off the ground and rolling.
The economy of an entire region can benefit from what the military no longer needs. For the Port of Oakland, the major port for one of the nation's most dynamic regional economies, the Navy cutback came at a crucial moment. It provided desperately needed waterfront space for expansion. The 582-acre Navy Fleet and Industrial Supply Center will become part of the Port of Oakland's Vision 2000 effort to create a technologically advanced shipping terminal, and already $7 million in federal transportation funds have gone into the project. Sometimes the entrepreneurs who take best advantage are the workers who lost their jobs.
Yeah, I recognized an opportunity here. I got together with a couple folks who ran port services here at Alameda, and we were all kind of sitting around saying, wouldn't it be nice if we could do this after the base closed and form a business?
The business they formed, Trident Management, manages the port at the former Alameda Naval Air Station, with a little help from what were once Navy assets.
The Navy left all the equipment that you would ever need to run a port, including boats. We have a tugboat, cranes, other equipment, supplies, materials.
The waterfront is not the only place where surplus military equipment has been put to productive use. Quality Assured Products, a manufacturer of valves for the chemical industry and public works, has found that size is no object when your metalworking shop and the equipment in it once serviced Navy bombers. Even old retired aircraft carriers can have new civilian lives. The USS Hornet found a permanent home on Alameda's waterfront, where it is a public educational asset and a contributor of the area's dynamic tourism industry. A decorated World War II veteran, the Hornet is also famous for retrieving the Apollo 11 astronauts when they returned from the first lunar landing mission. The private aircraft carrier Hornet Foundation has converted the ship into a floating museum that is expected to draw as many as 800,000 tourists a year from around the world for an educational glimpse of history. All across the country, communities and businesses are teaming up with the private sector, the Department of Defense, other federal agencies, and their state governments to turn unique opportunities into important advantages. And the results are astonishing. Commercial business centers, transportation hubs, residential communities, parklands, social assistance programs, schools, and universities, all tributes to determination of the communities themselves and to the system that has evolved to make BRAC a national success. Just up the road from Alameda is a community that understands very well just how important determination and support can be. A county that saw the closing of 3 major military installations.
I think Sacramento County has probably been more hard hit than any other community in the country.
Over 30,000 jobs gone. How does a community begin to rebuild?
Mather's a 5,700-acre facility. Its distinguishing feature was an 11,000-foot runway. So what we did was use that as a centerpiece for our reuse plan.
That plan attracted several air cargo carriers. One of them was Airborne Express.
Mather gave us an opportunity to expand. We were previously located out at Sacramento International Airport. There was no space to expand, no place to put in a new building. With the closure of Mather, it gave us an opportunity to find a place, find a home.
Today, 4 air cargo carriers have a home at Mather. The airport has a new terminal, one of the improvements financed in part by a federal grant. Federal law requires that some of the excess resources be used to assist the homeless. Mather's community campus shows how creatively this law can be made to work. To families like Carmen Simpson's, the Mather Community Campus provides interim housing, skills training, and other essential services that help point lives in the right direction.
June 1st of 1998, my children and I became homeless. My son, who's the oldest, is 16. I have a daughter, 13. I have a son, 2, and another son, 5 months old. They're doing very well. They were very pleased with the environment.
Among the new tenants of the former Sacramento Army Depot is another program focusing on community needs, but on a different scale, FoodLink.
On a statewide basis, we provide USDA commodities and a program that we call Donate, Don't Dump, which is perfectly good agricultural product that otherwise perhaps would have gone to waste because maybe peaches that perhaps maybe had double pits or cosmetic errors, but certainly nothing wrong with the quality. We transport that on a statewide basis and supply it to food banks throughout every county in California.
At the time McClellan Air Force Base was listed for closure, it was the Sacramento area's largest employer. Thanks to creative use of the base's technical facilities, it may someday regain that title. Even McClellan's Nuclear Radiation Center is being put to new uses.
With the base closure, the reactor is in the process of undergoing a public conveyance to the University of California, Davis, which will emphasize its research capabilities.
We have created over 1,300 jobs here at McClellan, either retained federal activities or new private sector companies brought onto the base. The impact on our regional economy here was over $1.5 billion. So it's going to take us some time to recover from that. But with emerging technologies within our region, the influx of high-tech industries, some of the unique assets that are here at McClellan, I'm confident that we'll be stronger over the long run.
Even rural communities, remote from major population centers, have transformed their old bases into engines for economic growth. An outstanding example is at the former Castle Air Force Base near Merced, California. Closed in 1995, Castle now has more than 2,000 new jobs, many more than were lost. Redevelopment of the base as Castle Airport Center has by itself begun to reverse the area's chronically high unemployment rate. And Pacesetter Industries shows why. A leading-edge producer of manufactured buildings, Pacesetter recognized the potential of an old B-52 hangar and the equipment once used to service those massive planes. As a result, the company now has the only moving assembly line for buildings in the industry. Its productivity and payroll have skyrocketed. For Alco trailer manufacturing, access to surplus Air Force equipment has meant similar success.
A lot of the equipment we have in here, especially in the fabrication department, was left by the Air Force. I would estimate 95% of the equipment we use in the fab shop was left by the Air Force. This move enabled us to grow.
SBC Pacific Bell, the telecommunications giant, gambled that Castle would prove an ideal site for a major customer care center. The gamble paid off. In just 71 days, they converted the old base commissary into a 21st century electronic customer service facility and began hiring. Soon, Pacific Bell had more than 850 new employees, almost all from nearby communities, and many from local welfare roles. Operations have expanded into 2 other former base buildings. The project ranks as one of the biggest new job generators on any BRAC base in the country. Companies like Pacesetter, Alco, and Pacific Bell have found creative ways to fill important economic needs. But for fun and excitement, nothing at Castle matches the 2 aviation educational facilities that welcome hundreds of visitors a year. The Aviation Challenge program, housed in the base's remodeled simulator building, introduces young and old to the science of flight and its effect on the body.
Attention to the spacecraft, attention to the spacecraft.
The nearby Challenger Learning Center, sanctioned by NASA, teaches children about space and space flight. Groups participate in simulated space shuttle missions, manning both a flight command center and a simulated shuttle vehicle. It's an exercise in teamwork, as well as a lesson in science. And the only grade given is applause when the shuttle crew returns safely home. More down to earth, but no less fascinating, is what's happening at the University of Colorado Health Sciences Center in Aurora, Colorado, which began moving into the Fitzsimmons Army Hospital even before the Army closed it. The center's premier programs is the Virtual Human Project, which aims at creating a detailed virtual representation of the human body that medical students, surgeons, nurses, and other healthcare professionals can learn from and safely practice new procedures on.
Unlike aircraft, which we have plans for, we didn't have the plans for the human body, and that's really what this is developing those plans. We want to develop surgical simulators, we want to develop procedural simulators, and we want to be able to see inside the body the way it looks when it's intact. We can walk here into a real operating room and then look at a virtual patient. It puts people in the theatrical environment of thinking they're in the operating room.
The Fitzsimmons property enables the university to realize its goal of being the hub of a vibrant complex of biomedical companies, turning research into marketable products.
Myogen is a biopharmaceutical company based here in Aurora, Colorado. It's focused on development of drugs for addressing heart disease. What was offered to us here was an opportunity to lease about 7,000 square feet of space, laboratory space, already well equipped with laboratory facilities in place, as well as a large amount of equipment that was resident here that is directly applicable to the kinds of work that we do in the laboratory.
Myogen and other startups will be moving into the first of several planned bioscience buildings on the 578-acre site. In nearby Denver, Colorado, the closing of Lowry Air Force Base has spurred a recovery program with the slogan, Live, Learn, Work, Play. That speaks for all BRAC communities throughout the country.
The Lowry project was the biggest infill real estate development project that the city and county of Denver have seen for 40 years because they've been landlocked.
The Lowry development plan includes 3,000 houses and residences, both new and renovated. 2 million square feet of commercial space, including 100,000 square feet of retail space in the town center. 800 acres of open space with golf facilities, sports fields, wetlands, and traditional park areas.
One of the old B-52 hangars has been converted into an ice rink, which is open. It's a beautiful facility. It has 2 regulation NHL size sheets of ice, pro shop and gathering places that seems to be busy from about 5 a.m. until after midnight every day.
For communities and individuals who successfully meet the challenge, the redevelopment of closed military facilities is more than a matter of survival. It is an opportunity to set new goals and achieve them.
One of the near-term goals is to realize an advanced transportation technology cluster here at the Naval Air Station.
Plans for the future are immense. This year, we're going to put out on one contract 1,186 units.
We anticipate 25,000 jobs being on this facility, which is probably 3 to 4 times as many jobs as were ever here before, both military and civilian.
We want to be Hollywood North.
I would like to buy a house, and I'm hoping to do that after graduating from the program.
For any community, the closing of a local military base can be either dusk or dawn, an ending or a beginning. It's all a matter of how you look at it.